Hey everyone, Joe here. Well, today I got a gear review for you. Now, it's been a long time since I did a lens review, but I finally got around doing the review on the Canon EFS 10-22mm f3.5 to 4.5 USM lens. Now, I've had this lens for quite a long time. Actually, I've had this lens way before I even started my YouTube channel. So, I thought about time I got around to do an honest review for you. So, let's hop in here and get to this. The Canon EFS 10-22mm f3.5 to 4.5 USM lens. This zoom lens provides ultra-wide angle coverage to all APS-C, including EOS Rebel camera bodies. Equivalent to a 10 to 35mm zoom, it offers excellent performance and optics designed from the ground up for DSLR use. 3 spherical elements plus a super ultra-low dispersion element assure high image quality. Its ring-type ultrasonic motor means fast and silent autofocus, along with full-time manual focus, which can focus as close as 9.5 inches. Okay, everyone. Well, enough of that little technical jargon information Canon likes to put out. But anyway, let's talk about the actual lens here. Now, it's older lens, got the older style lens cover, but it does have, the metal mount on the bottom. Now, I'm going to go with build quality first on this. Like I said, it is EFS, so you do have the little rubber ring. You cannot physically put this on a EF mount like the 6D or a higher end camera. If it does fit, that'll probably end up hitting something, so steer away from even trying to do that. Now, it does not have image stabilization. There is a newer lens out, the 10 to 18, that does have image stabilization, but really it's also a plastic mount and it's more budget oriented lens. This is your older lens back when Canon actually used to make quality mid-grade glass, and this is one of those. Like I said, metal mount. It has internal focusing, really nice. Got the little gauge right here so you can see where you're focusing at, which is very useful because I do use this lens a lot at night. And being able to see where your infinity is really helpful if you're trying to get a photo of the stars and everything. It does go from 10 to 22mm, which is about the equivalent of 16mm up to around 35mm, give and take, at least on Canon anyway. It is a mostly plastic construction, but a high grade quality at least. A little bit of metal in the construction at least. Unfortunately, the filter ring is still plastic. But overall, really not bad construction on this. A lot of people consider this lens, well, at least when it first come out, to be an L quality lens, but in a more affordable body. And I guess at the time, that was probably true. The optics is starting to show a little bit of its age, although it's still holding up fairly well. And of course, I'll just see all the pictures and stuff here in the end of the video, so you can get an idea. We'll hop over here in the computer in Lightroom and zoom in. You can see what all the pros and cons are, at least optically wise, is on this lens anyway. Now, the lens is made in Japan. They're actually still going quite expensive. I think the MSRP is still probably around $600, which I would not pay. I actually purchased mine about $350, which I think is more of a fair price for this lens. So if you can find it on sale for around $350, it's a good lens to get. I personally wouldn't pay no more than that, even though I will put an Amazon link down the bottom in case anybody's interested to purchase it or just want to see what others have said in their reviews. Like I said, if it goes on sale around $350, you're looking to get a lens for your Canon camera, this is the one to get, at least in my honest opinion. There are other lenses out, like Tonica, and quite a few others, and Tamron's got some out. And Sigmas really aren't too bad, but I gotta tell you, when it comes in to doing ultra-wide angle lenses, at least on the crop sensor bodies, none of those lenses really perform great. Now, this one performs, I think, good, but I'm going to say the lens performs great, because none of them do. Matter of fact, they perform good to bad. So, and, don't expect, huge level here. On my Canon 70D, I think this lens gets around probably 8 to 9 perceived megapixels of sharpness. Not a whole lot there. Although it's still quite usable. Now, I often take a lot of photos with it, and you can easily print, do 17-inch prints with this, no problem. It will still be more than sharp enough. But don't expect to print anything out like 20 to 30-inch prints with this. It's going to show a lot of, softness in the corners and stuff of the photos. So that's unfortunate, it's a downside, but it's common with a lot of these ultra-wide angle lenses. All right. Now, it has autofocus and, of course, manual focus as well. And it has full-time manual focus, so if you focusing in, it doesn't look just right, you can simply grab the ring and turn it. There's no worries about damaging anything. It's not going to damage anything with this ultrasonic motor in it. And overall, I've been using it for quite a long time. I normally do keep a dust filter on it, and I recommend if anybody does get this lens to put at least a dust filter on there when you, even when you're not using it. Just because the way the lens zooms in and out, it's internally. But that whole motion right there causes some lens breathing and stuff. Air transferring in and out because the air's got to go somewhere. And that could introduce dust. So keeping a little UV protection filter on it or a CPL or something other is a good way to keep the dust out of the lens and make it last a bit longer without having to have it sent into Canon for servicing. But anyway, hop over here to the computer. Let's take a look at some of these photos and stuff that I've taken here in the past, and with the idea of what the image quality looks like on this thing. Okay, everyone. Well, I got some test images here, and our first image I'm going to bring up is one I shot back here in Hong Kong a while back. Now, this is shot at ISO 100, 10 millimeter, and f3.5 at 1/80th of a second, and so yeah, this is 3.5. This is wide open for this particular lens, and we can tell at 3.5, they got some sharpness in the center, mind you. But if we go over here and look at these top corners, woo, right there on the high contrasting edges, we got some serious chroma and a lot of wild, crazy looking leaves and stuff. Now, I know a lot of folks are probably automatically just completely turned off by this lens as soon as they see that. But let's be quite honest, this is actually a problem with most APS-C wide-angle lenses, especially the ultra-wide angle ones. Now let's go down here to the bottom corner if I can. And we can see it gets really soft over in that corner, but not too bad. Now keep in mind, I'm looking at this on a 32-inch display, so if I was to print this out, one-to-one as I'm looking at it right now, this is like a 19 to 22-inch photo. It's quite large here. So I can assure you, if you're printing 17-inch prints, you got no problem with this lens. Now we'll go over here, we can see some more crazy softness. Now the focus was probably about midways right here. So, it's not focused on that, and we are shooting f3.5, so it's going to look a little soft for things in the further background just because of depth of field. So let's close this one and go to the next photo. Now this other photo right here we're looking at was shot at 22 millimeter. That's the telly end of this little ultra wide angle, and ISO 250 at f9 at I think at 1/600 of a second. And I was shooting this to get some little, obviously a photo of everything around here, of this beach and stuff, while the ocean tide was really super low. And we go over here, we look over here at this coconut tree, excuse me. And we say it's not too bad. The center is still really sharp. And if we go to the far corners, still, see it's kind of sharp. Now we go down here to the corners. And we see it's not a whole lot of difference between here in the center to the corners when you stop down quite a bit. It just you still start seeing that type of distortion and look and stuff, but like I said, that's common to ultra wide angle lenses. But this is actually a fairly sharp photo right here. Nothing wrong at all with this. Okay, so let's go to our next photo here. So we'll just do this. Yeah, pop it over there. Now here's another photo of the beach when the water's actually up. This is a shot I actually took a while back, and we can see, we'll start looking at the sand and stuff here. It's not too bad. This is at 10 millimeter at f6.3, which is a fairly sharp point for this lens. And we see, we did get a lot of soft distortion and stuff here in the corners, but actually not that bad. Although if you go up here to the top, there is that ugly chroma still sticking out for you. A lot of real purple and green chroma from this lens. See green up around this corner, and on this bottom side here you get the magenta. Yeah. But like I said, that's common. This is a really good lens as far as sharpness and stuff goes. It could use a little bit of updating, keep in mind. But still, overall, this is an extremely sharp photo. And that chroma you can take out in Lightroom. Now, a lot of people preach about just taking it out in Lightroom, and while you can to an extent, it still does soften up the image some around where that chroma would be. So your sharper lens is always preferred. But like I said, in this price range, you're not going to find a lens that really, in my opinion, performs any better. And in fact, most of them perform worse. This is actually one of the better ones, if you ask me. Of course, we'll go here and look in the center again. Like I said, we're zooming in 1-to-1 here. Still very, very sharp. Excellent lens, and not a bad photo at all. Okay, so we got another one here. Now this is a photo I shot in my office, and I wanted to show this one because it's really nothing to look at. But this is a small office. It's like 13 feet by like 13 feet, or about, at the time I think it was 15 feet by 13 feet. So I'm over here in the corner where the actual wall is now, taking a photo of it before I built my studio office that we're filming in now. And I wanted to show this, just kind of give you an idea of what you can use this for if you're going into like real estate photography and stuff, taking photos of inside the houses or whatnot, or offices, apartments. Then you can get quite a good view of the entire area using this lens. Now, like I said, we go over here, look at the corner a little bit. It's just a little distortion, not much. See that chroma over there in high contrasting areas again. And overall, not too bad. Now, keep in mind, I didn't sharpen these images any, but I think Lightroom did drop in that plus 25. It does by default. So I didn't sharpen these any extra. So this is basically all what you're seeing is untouched raw, except for that one little bit that Lightroom does. All right, I got one more photo here, and this was done at 12mm at f6.3 ISO 100 at 4 seconds on a tripod, obviously. My hands are not that steady, but we can see nice good sharpness, a lot of nice color rendition stuff with these Christmas lights and stuff I took a photo of, back last year. No, not too bad. Overall, pretty decent results from lens. Like I said, there are much worse lenses out there. There are very few better ones, and they're primes. Only the ones that are actually zoom lenses as far as APS-C goes, there really isn't much better, at least on the Canon end. Some people might argue with that, but not me personally. This is probably one of your better ones. It's still not, in my opinion, the greatest, but it's got room for improvement, but there's a lot worse. Anyway, check out the videos here coming up next. It's the quick sun flare test to give you an idea how it performs in the sunlight, and also what do you expect of using it for video. Okay, everyone, well, that's it for this gear review. I hope you found this gear review helpful if you decided to purchase this lens or not. Like I said, do check out my Amazon affiliate link down the bottom if you're interested, want to find out more about the lens, or if you're deciding to purchase it, because do purchasing it through the Amazon affiliate link does help support this channel, which brings in more gear and helps improve the channel overall, which is always highly appreciated. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please take the time to subscribe. Subscribing is free. It's for you and lets you know when I release more videos. Until next time, everyone, thank you for watching.